Okay.
Hi, welcome to Sheffield Hopcast. Adam's doing the hosting today. Do you know it's a year since we've done a real episode, and it's crazy. We're into March now, and I've got a smoke alarm going off. If everyone can hear that.
Have you got Yorkshire puddings in, Adam? Or what's in?
I'll leave the kitchen for 1 minute, and all disaster strikes. I don't know if anybody's told them to reach the button. Laura, how are you today? We're doing all right.
All right, thank you.
I was just saying, so a year ago today, I think, well, not today, but it was International Women's Day. Is it today or is it tomorrow? It's tomorrow because it's my wedding anniversary. So you had the hosting duties a year ago, and that's the last live episode we ever did. A year ago, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's gone so quickly, but at the same time, it feels like forever ago, doesn't it? Being sat in a nice little group in a pub. But...
Yeah. James, good evening.
Hello.
Have you had a good week? We'll not talk about football.
We'll not talk about football. No. Apart from, football's been bad. But apart from football, football's been really, really bad. But apart from football, yeah, Sean, all good. Don't get Sean started on football. Nobody needs that. It's called Sheffield Hopcast, mate. Sheffield Hopcast, not Barnsley. All right.
What are you doing, Sean? We all right? We all geared up for Sheffield Beer Week?
We're doing great, Adam. A couple of points there then. So Barnsley, of course, have won 7 in a row. It is Radio Sheffield as well, it's called, James, but they also talk about Barnsley and Doncaster.
Oh, I know.
Rotherham and Chesterfield as well, of course.
Far too well.
So Sheffield Beer Week, of course, a year ago, that was just, I think, probably one of the last events to sneak in, Adam, before lockdown. So this year, Jules is hosting an online event, which I think there was a Sheffield Beer Week / Indie Beer Feast virtual event last night, but Sheffield Beer Week, I think, virtual events start from tomorrow onwards.
And so everyone can go and get the beers from you.
There'll be a variety. Yeah, we're featuring some new breweries that we've not featured before this coming week in the shop as a virtual Chef Beer Week or a little event for Beer Central. So there'll be plenty happening this week online and plenty of discussions. I think Jules has got quite a lot lined up for different chats with breweries and all sorts of things.
Good stuff. You might be wondering why we're not being doing as beers, but it's tactical, and it's to do with our guests tonight. Every so often we try and get like a local drinker in, and that's one of these weeks. And we actually, Hopcast first, we've given the role of the guest to choose the theme. So welcome to Frankie. Frankie, how would you like to be called? Because you've got lots of different names online. Frankie, Midnight.
I go normally by Frank. Obviously, my friends call me Midnight because my karaoke name is Frankie Midnight. So Frankie will be fine. Frank or Frankie, I don't care.
All right, Frank. We'll go Frankie because I'm just more familiar with that. It's just I'm gonna keep it at that. Go with your karaoke name. So yeah, you set the tasks this week for the theme and then the beers we're going to drink. So I think everyone's kind of tried to pick a beer roughly around your theme. So do you want to give us a bit of a shout out on a bit of a chat on what you've picked and why you've picked that? Right.
Well, the theme today, which I thought was pretty poignant during lockdown, was a beer from a brewery, or the best brewery tap that you've been to. So that's either a brewery pub or tap at the actual brewery. Because I thought we're all missing going to places, going to pubs just generally. I just thought it would be nice to revisit the best brewery bar you've been to, or at least
want to go to
the best. Because, we had this discussion, myself and Adam, that everybody picked St. Miles of the Desert because there's the fantastic brewery bar. But I said, well, just
try and swerve it so we don't
internationally. So, and I've deliberately, even though I've got one of their beers here, I've deliberately not chosen them because it would have been too obvious.
You were saying before we started that you had a bit of a mini nightmare. I'm wondering whether it were linked to Smod, because they've released a few new beers this week. Well, and I left it one day to go to my local shop, and they had nothing left.
No. The thing is that I always order my beers on the day that it comes out, so I'm pretty quick when
not that disaster then.
Martha puts it up. So, like I say, I've got one of theirs. The cherry one's gone. There was no way. I mean, I drank the cherry one, Mr. Syphilis, and then I used my willpower to wait for 2 hours before I could drink the other one. That is absolutely fantastic.
So, what beer have you picked tonight then? For you? What have you chosen
then? I've actually chosen, although it's not the best brewery bar, but for some reason I can't find the Cloudwater. And Unit 9 in Manchester is one of the best brewery bars I've been to. It's absolutely weird. They play Swedish music and the photos and the pictures around the bar is just weird. A little bit way out. But I've actually gone for Tiny Rebel. I know there's lots of people are a bit. It's a bit controversial on whether their beers are decent or not decent or whatever. But like leaving that aside, their brewery bar in Cardiff is really, really quaint. It's really, really funny, and it's a really fantastic place to go. It's like, well, it's a little bit like going down like Brixton or somewhere like that, because it's like it's oldie worldy. You've got all sorts of signs on the wall, different sayings and what, and it's really completely way out as a brewery bar. Really, really, really good stuff.
Which beer have you got? What beer have you gone for then?
So the beer that I've gone for is, here we can see it,
Slush Dog.
Slush Dog. So yeah, Slush Dog. Joe Sugg.
What style is it? Does it say what it is?
That's actually a good question. That is.
Find out. Get it poured, and we'll come back to you.
Yeah. Well, I've actually poured it behind the.
Oh God. Okay. Fair enough. Cool. Right. I'm going to go to Sean. Sean, what have you? Oh, very nice colour. That's a James. I like that colour. Very nice pink colour. Sean, coming to you. What have you?
First up, Adam.
First up, have you remembered? Because I did give you a 4-day warning.
I've remembered. Yeah. I've got to congratulate Frankie because this is a really good theme, and it's not a theme that I don't think we've discussed or mentioned at any point before. And I like the theme particularly because, again, it does take you away. We've all been sort of stuck at home or stuck at work and not much in between. So it does take you away to another place. And so I had a good long think. I enjoyed revisiting some real brilliant memories. We used to love going up to Magic Rock at Huddersfield on the train and having a nice day out and lunch in Huddersfield and then finishing off up there. Me and Deborah once went to a lovely day to Coney Island on that southern tip of Brooklyn, and we came up to other half and Threes Brewing there and had a really spectacular time at Threes Brewing in particular. Brew York is worth a mention. Their tap over there, an hour away over in York, is a spectacular place. We'd also enjoyed a lovely evening at Red Church down in London once. Colonel, of course, has got to get a mention there. Their brewery used to open in its early days, and you could get a real fantastic drink and experience there. Very busy, of course, but I've interpreted, Frank, your theme in a slightly different way. So all of those are places that we've been visited, but I've actually gone for a tap that I've never ever visited, and the reason I'm mentioning it is that we're planning for this to be our very first place to go and get a draft pint of beer as things reopen outdoors on the 15th of April. So the place that I'm going to nominate, I'll tell you about the beer in a second, but you should be able to see a beautiful photograph there of some benches. And can you know where it is, Frankie?
Heist.
It's not Heist. No.
Oh, no.
For the audio listeners, we're looking at kind of a canal side with some benches and a few kind of kegs. But I think I know where it is because I'm from near Sean and I'm familiar with that area. But
so that go on, Adam.
I think is it Don Valley Brewery?
It used to be Don Valley Brewery, so very well spotted. But
it's that Gorilla. What's it?
Gorilla Emperor.
It's behind Imperial, which I think you're mentioning there, Frank. But it is Gorilla Brewing, and they took over the Don Valley site earlier last year, and have got a beautiful outdoor drinking area down by the canal. I think the Don and Dern Canal, although I could be wrong. They're planning to open up. Yeah, planning to open up middle of April. Their outdoor area, and we've already discussed a nice walk across there with Deborah's dad, Tommy, and Deborah's sister and brother-in-law Neil, and a little afternoon, a nice walk, and then a beautiful position down by the canal boats. Sailing by with a nice pint of their Kong IPA by the table there would be brilliant. So we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to that being our first drink. It looks a really nice place. We know them there at the brewery as well, and so hopefully we'll be able to get a table booked in, a nice sunny day, and a nice set of drinks, and canal boats sailing by just sounds perfect.
Sounds great. Excellent stuff. I've not been there myself. I recognise the building though as soon as I saw that picture. But it's always because it's quite nearby in Mexborough from where I'm from. Let's go to next. Laura's on mobile phone today.
Yeah, having internet issues, so that's why I'm the other way around today. But hopefully it'll keep going, and you can all hear and see me properly.
Coming through nice and clear.
So I've chosen a local-ish tap room to us, and I've also picked. It's a beer that I've been really excited to try. That Adam showed me on release day, so he first alerted me to it. So I've picked a lot from Thornbridge. Pink lemonade sour, but Thornbridge Tap is one of my favourite places to go to when we're out in the peaks. It's somewhere that I've been going for a number of years. It used to be in the building that's now been entirely taken over by the brewery, and as Thornbridge have expanded, they've kind of relocated their tap room to an appropriate place on site. I suppose a lot of their pubs as well that are in Sheffield, such as the Stag's Head, will hopefully be opening in April. So there are other places that I'll be excited to go back to. And the other reason I wanted to pick Thornbridge was because this week they've announced that they've sadly already made the decision to cancel Peakender, which would have been taking place in August, which is upset about it because I was looking forward to going, obviously, but also felt it was worthy of a mention because the message that they put out with it, I thought was, really, really clearly communicated, and a great way for them to kind of put forward how they're committing to their business. Basically saying, we're a brewery at the end of the day. We're not events organisers first and foremost, and we need to focus on our staff being safe, our staff coming back, and us all getting back to our day jobs, which I thought was really, really commendable. So I just thought that was worth mention as well. I've also brought from my further afield tap room. I don't know if anybody's watching can see my glass, my Russian River glass from our holiday to California a couple of years ago, and the tour that we went on there in their tap room. Appropriate glass as well. And final shout out before I shut up. I've got a new brewery t-shirt.
Hey, yes,
for the first time in a while.
Laura, what are you wearing?
Boxcar brewery t-shirt in a lovely pastel lilac. So
we need to turn it into like one of them, like kind of like chants. You're like everyone goes, Laura, what are you wearing today? Like you on them kind of like, on like TFI Friday. It's I think actually I'm thinking about when we in the summer when we were kind of back open again. I think Thornbridge was probably the only one, or definitely the last one I went to. It's enormous.
Yeah.
The new venue. It feels kind of like some sort of like Oktoberfest kind of feel. It feels like a really enormous tent, but it's not, is it? It's probably. But yeah, cool. Very nice color again. What would you say color that is? It's kind of a peachy kind of.
Yeah, like a dusky pink.
Pink grapefruity. Cool. James.
Hello.
What have you gone for this?
Well, I also had a bit of a shortlist, and everything that was on my shortlist has been mentioned to some extent. So I also agree with Frankie in terms of Cloudwater. I think that's a cracking little place, and reminds me of football away days. All those teams over that side where you can spend the morning in Manchester first. It opens quite early, Cloudwater. So yes, also I was going to mention Thornbridge, because Thornbridge had been my runner-up for 2 shows in a row now. I nearly went for a Thornbridge beer last time, nearly went for a Thornbridge beer this time, but didn't. But I did go for a Thornbridge glass, which you can just about make out there. On the basis that I was also going to mention Peakender, but Laura beat me to it. But very true. And I also thought that the statement this week was really commendable in terms of it went into the detail of saying that a lot of the people that work at Peakender are quite young, so they just don't know whether or not, if the vaccination program goes according to plan, it would be really tight up to that August date. And I think in terms of being responsible, and also just saying it now rather than it getting closer and closer and then having to call it off, at least now we sort of know, and we can just look forward to Peakender next year. So real fair play to them for that. But what I've gone for is, I'm going to show you the photograph first. Laura will recognize this instantly, I would imagine, if you can see it, a massively lighting system. It was Sean that mentioned in passing Brew York, and the reason I've gone for Brew York, as Laura's phone is attacked by her cat. I think it's an excellent brewery tap, but probably not the best. But the reason I've gone for it is because it reminds me of you guys, apart from Sean, because he didn't turn up that day. But the rest of you that did turn up, it reminds me of you guys and that day out that we had in York, which I think, was that for your birthday, Laura? I think it was, wasn't it? It was one of your birthday outings, and was a fantastic day. And it was the day that I was introduced to Tonkoko, which I'd not had before. So I've gone for one of the newer versions of Tonkoko as my beer, which you can't see because my light's too strong. But it's Schmore Tonkoko, which I don't really know what schmores are. I think they're an American like biscuit or something.
They're like a little.
They look like Rocky Road, but like an Americanized version of it.
I think they kind of like, like them like ice gem thing. They kind of like little like.
No,
they're not.
You toast a marshmallow. It's a toasted marshmallow and chocolate on a biscuit.
Why is it called schmore? Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
Schmore.
Yeah, it's like melty chocolate on a biscuit and then a toasted marshmallow, and you squish it all together, and it's like a camping treat.
Well, there's your kind of guidance for a taste anyway. So,
well, it does say on it marshmallow, coconut, cacao, tonka, and vanilla milk stout. 4.3. So, in keeping with the original Tonkoko percentage, because obviously a lot of them nowadays are much stronger than that. So, yes, I have already opened it and had a few tastes of it because I just couldn't wait.
Sounds right up my street, that, James.
It's actually very odd. There's a lot going on there. First taste, I was like, oh, this is too much. This is too overpowering. You know, sometimes a beer where you need a couple of mouthfuls just to kind of acclimatize to it. And once your mouth and your palate adjust to it, and you're like, oh, actually, it's good. Yeah, it's good.
Good. Cool. I think a bit like Frankie was saying, in our messages together, I thought we could have quite easily all just gone for a smod beer and just sat down and just talked about how nice it is up their brewery tap. So I kind of purposely avoided that on purpose. And I've gone for another local one, which don't really feature at all, really, or much at all. And but it's somewhere that, because of where I work and stuff, is where I've often seen my friends, from work after a beer. And that is Triple Point. Yeah, It's their Dyad number 4 to DDH NEPA. I haven't said NEPA, but it's not very cloudy, but it's quite bitter in taste, actually, in a nice way, actually, like you'd expect. But spent a lot of time in there, in its old incarnation. We've had people on about that before, and I've spent a lot of time drinks after work. It's basically on the back of our building. Not that I've been in that building in a year, sort of thing, but I think I know that there's some controversy around kind of some of the ins and outs of that and how it's changed and stuff. But as an actual venue for drinking purposes, it's pretty much it's bang on, really. I think George and was his dad called Sean?
I would guess John, but I don't know. It's George that we deal with, actually. So
I would guess, can I just make up a name then? I would guess John
probably.
Maybe Dave.
Yeah,
could be Mike.
James, my dad's called John, so it was easy for me to pick that one out.
So George, you just go for a Beatle. Should go for Ringo. George and Ringo.
I think
maybe.
Ringo's unlikely.
That's my favourite ever moment on the Hopcast. I'm just going to guess what his dad's called. I guess John.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot there, Sean. I just thought you would just throw it straight back at me, no problems at all. Yeah, I think since they've kind of taken it, I think the outside space is like rapidly, massively improved. They've got some like the kind of, rather than having their in-house food, they've got. Do they still have Twisted Burger Company and think in there as well? So yeah, and after sort of branching out and putting a lot of different beers on, not just their own beers, so I think it's become quite a good place to go. And I say I haven't been in a long time, but yeah.
Adam, can I suggest that if it is John, that James shows his ass on Sheffield Town Hall steps?
That's right. We'll find out. We'll find out.
I'm going to research this now.
I did get another beer though, because I wasn't sure whether I'm going to do a local and a non-local. And just following up what James said, really, like I think prior to lockdown, I think I went in December to Brew York, and then earlier on in the year for Laura's birthday. But that's a cracking place. It's got the the kind of upstairs like beer hall style, then downstairs you got that kind of more like almost like a trad kind of pub thing. So here's my backup
downstairs
beer.
Wins.
Seeing how quick this goes down, I've got a Haas Eagle, which is a New England DDH as well. So see how fast I get down this one.
New Zealand.
I've got one of them downstairs.
New Zealand, yeah. So yeah, I was thinking just to move on about like kind of brewery taps and stuff and kind of where their place in the future. In the shower this morning, I was thinking, are the ones that are kind of not like a proper bar, so these kind of more, this little bit of a corner in breweries and stuff, are they going to be kind of probably an easier place to kind of open up in the next kind of coming months, because they're not kind of got that really kind of rigid kind of we're a proper pub venue, and we've got all these like they've just got kind of a yard outside, and it might just be
they've got space, Adam. Yeah, they've got space. A lot of them have an outdoor feel as well, don't they? So I think
it makes me wonder whether it might be an easier job for them to operate. I don't know about toilet. I don't know what people's rules are when in this first kind of phase, because obviously I think since last time we now know when things are changing in terms of opening up, and obviously we can drink in pubs. Is it from the 12th or something? Is it the mid-April or whatever it is?
No, it's just
outside.
Yeah, it's outside in April, outside, and indoors in May.
Yeah. So the outside point, can you go into the toilet? I don't know.
I was thinking about that. Like, what do you do? Just like wee on the wall or something?
You can at golf courses. I think that's from the 29th. So you can go into the outside spaces.
I think they're earlier, aren't the golf courses?
Actually thinking about it, like I'm trying to remember like that period when this happened last time. Golf
courses are May, March, the 29th.
Even earlier then.
And you can go into the toilets from outside. Yeah. So the toilets
you're just not allowed to breathe. I think that's the rule.
Yeah, just don't breathe.
Go to the toilet.
At my course, Tankersley, you can go into the toilets, but the bar's not open.
Right. So yeah. So it's. But yeah, sensible, I think maybe these places which are kind of a little bit more like basically an outside space outside the brewery, which have a kind of a bit like what Neep's End had, I suppose, bit like more open, I suppose. They've made their own kind of bar and stuff. I'm imagining that might be an easier kind of thing to juggle than the kind of red tape of having a proper venue.
Do we get into a whole legal definition of what outside is? Like, how
Probably.
many walls is classed? Do you remember when they brought the smoking ban in, and they were like, some beer gardens were classed as being inside because they had like 3 walls and a roof or something, and like what the legal definition of inside or outside is? Because I was thinking about like Neep's End's just got that kind of, I don't know if it is Neep's End. I think it's
Neep's
Neep's
End.
End. It's just got the big shutter at the front, so it's kind of like it's quite open. So is that classed as outside or is that inside? It's like it's a yard, but it's got 3 walls and it's got a roof. Like, it's going to be interesting to see what is actually classed as outside and what is inside, and if some people kind of try and get away with
the rules.
James, the old Neep's End. I mean, I drive past the new Neep's End quite often, but the old Neep's End would have been classed as inside.
Yeah, I think it would have done. Yeah, but I know what you mean, James. Kind of like a garage, isn't it? Almost like.
But I'm not sure where they would put the new Neep's End because it's next to Pedlar's Market, and I think that is a shared space. Not just for Neep's End, but the other side where the bread shop and that is. There's potential for it to be there, so we don't know.
Talking of Neep's End, news this week that they're opening a bottle shop, aren't they, on the back of the Wellington, Roscoe. Is it called Roscoe something? Which I think is it the old brewery, Sean? But is it the White Road where they did? Where's the building?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where it is. I know it's down Kelham way, but I read this week that there was a new place opening. I didn't know Neep's End were behind that.
I think, well, it's not. It's not. Is it the guy who runs all the pubs and the brewery, who owns the brewery? Yeah. I think it's. So it might just be more of an outlet for Neep's End to get stuff out, but it's basically the building right behind the Wellington. So
is it right? Yeah. So that's on the Shellsmore roundabout.
Yeah, it's on Roscoe. Yeah, it's on that street that's on the back of it. Yeah, I've got a feeling it's where the brewery stuff was. Where is it? White Rose were in there and Little Ale Cart and stuff.
Yes,
I've got a feeling it might be in that. Yeah, we'll see.
All right, very good.
It also
James, you're safe. It appears that George's dad is called Mike.
I was just waiting to when I was because that was my second guess.
It was my second guess. My dad's brother is called Mike, so it
looks like
Mike. It was my second guess.
Definitely more a Mike than a John, I would say. As John's go. If you're watching the video, I'm very impressed with the fact that Sean's gone for this kind of mood lighting that he's got going on.
It's very good.
Yeah, it's Deborah has bought a new little light for in here, and I couldn't be bothered to go and get the other lighting that I normally have some industry standard lighting for our broadcasts, but I've gone with a little side light tonight, James. So. Hopefully, it might improve my looks, actually. So,
industry standard? Are you some kind of actor or something, or a newsreader?
I think he just means Frankie, big lights. I think that's what he means.
Frankie, I have an industry standard microphone. I have an industry standard. That was donated.
It was industry standard 10 years ago. It was. It truly was.
Yeah, it's also our. Frank, you mentioned karaoke. I was hoping you might suggest that we all have a karaoke song tonight. I was hoping. So, fly me to the mood.
The complete film, there, John. Poor old Frank Sinatra is going to be turning in his grave.
I sang that deliberately to tie in the Frankies, you see.
Yeah, that's it.
Anyway, you did remind me then, Sean, of another honourable mention. Although I don't think it necessarily counts now. When you said industry standard, I was thinking, industry tap. Not mentioned that, which we've done an episode on. We've had Darren in, but I don't know if it's not officially a brewery tap, is it? So it doesn't.
No, Lost Industry have left the building. So okay. Darren has that, and Darren is opening a new place as well. We should mention. I'm not sure whether we mentioned it before, but if you come out of Sheffield I'm going to call it Sheffield train station just to
next to Leadmill.
Comply. Yeah, it should be Sheffield railway station, I believe.
Is it common knowledge, Sean? Is it common knowledge?
Darren has told everyone, I believe. Yeah. So next to that corner point at the Leadmill.
It used to be the stock room. It's on the fork of the.
It's been a few little things, hasn't it?
Yeah, I
think
it's
a little Chinese supermarket.
More recently, he likes going for his pointy buildings, doesn't he?
He likes his
pointy triangular buildings.
Their lighting, actually, I know Frank goes in there regularly. The lighting in Industry Tap is excellent as well, Frank. So
is it industry standard in Industry Tap?
It would be industry standard, of course, in there, would it?
Of course.
Anyway, Frankie.
We were in there quite often because it's I mean, as well as the Lost Industry beers, it had quite a lot of sours, which Eileen likes. She likes the sours. So that's I went there quite often, and I picked up there quite often during the summer. There and 2 Miles of the Desert. But since then, I've just branched out into all sorts of, Brew York being one of them, getting stuff from breweries, just, to try some different breweries. Anyhow, I mean, I can actually read this. I should have put my glasses on. This one is
this is your slush dog.
Yeah.
It's got a lot in there, Frank. There's a lot in there, isn't there?
Ice cream float. Never heard of an ice cream float. I mean, that sounds more like Buxton. They're the ones that ice cream. But it's a very, very, it's a little bit sweet for those who don't like sweet, but it's very, very nice indeed. It's a little bit on the light side, I would say, in the body of the actual beer. It's certainly not like the cherry Mr. Cyphus that I had the other day, which was absolutely gorgeous, or the grapefruit sours from Vault City, because they're two of the best that I've had recently. Grapefruit and the blood orange, they've been absolutely fantastic.
I've got one in the fridge.
I'm not trying anything from Vault City because I thought once I try one, that's it. I'm going to want them all.
I wouldn't normally, but they have in the green shop. They had the little bottles, and they weren't ridiculously expensive. So I thought, well, I'll give one a try. Because I think you're talking about £8 or £9, aren't you, for the sort of big ones? So I think you said, these ones are about £4. So what? Well, then.
But I normally order them from the brewery. So if we're ordering, obviously now I've got that many that there's no point in me ordering the 12 because I must have got 20 to 30 in the cellar of different Vault Cities because they're stuck downstairs. Yeah, I must have over 30. And obviously I'm buying other beers as well. So, but the Vault Cities, majority of them, the ones, the pastry ones, they're hit and miss because they've got too much lactose in. So they're not as good as the pure fruit ones, and the other farm to fermented series is fantastic. But obviously that has to wait till obviously the fruit gets picked from the farm. And they turn around within 24 hours from field to brewing the ale. So that's a very good series, that Farm to Ferment.
Sean, how was your beer? I was thinking I've not really had anything by this. Is it Gorilla Brewing?
Gorilla, yes. So the head brewer
I have seen them. I just
is
don't know much about them.
Ian Darville, who used to work at Acorn, and he's head brewer down there now. Knows what he's doing. He was a brilliant home brewer before that. Well known within the industry as a great home brewer, and did his time at Acorn. Has been down there probably nearly a year now. This is Kong IPA. I've got American hopped IPA, 6%, exactly what you would expect. They do vanilla stout as well, thriller in vanilla. They've got an orange wheat. We've got a silverback blonde, so a nice range, ticking all the different styles. And Ruby Baboon, so a nice brewery. I've got a nice brewery site. They also own Rockingham Tap, Adam, which I think you've been in before as well. And as I understand it as well, they're just opening up a tap on Knaresborough Station, Knaresborough Tap, which is a brilliant location to have found a train station or railway station bar to open. I'm sure that's happening for them shortly. So a business that are on the up, and good owners, know what they're doing, and really look forward to going down there in April for an outdoor pint.
I'm assuming you've got their range at your shop as well. If wants to
we have indeed. Thanks for that. But yes, if you want to check those out, yes, we have, and we've got Vault Cities as well.
Good stuff.
We have a smod this week. We've held on to our smod, so we knew there'd be a mad rush over the weekend, so they'll be on sale tomorrow. Although we could only get 24 of the cherry, so the bun fight for the cherry tomorrow will be a stressful experience.
Yes.
Can I get pre-order?
No.
Laura, I feel kind of. I need to ask you about your beer, since I kind of pushed it onto you, thinking that it'd be very much a Laura style beer.
Yeah, well, I think you sent me a picture of it with the witty joke. I think Laura will like this a lot, and you are right. I do. I really like it.
Laura, I can't believe that Adam used that joke. Can you?
I think. Do you know what? I think I thought of it as I were writing it. I thought, I can pun this.
Adam, I saw Laura yesterday in the shop, and ever guess what I did, Mr. Obvious? Sorry, Laura.
Go on. Did you try and sell her beer?
I suggested that she might like the beer.
The one that is her beer.
Yeah.
A lot.
Oh, you did it. Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were going to try and sell her the beer that you've just. Actually, that's good. Laura, you may as well give that a quick plug. While your old Ladyrara has been kind of. Is it?
Yes.
Am I right in thinking it's been rebranded, refreshed the recipe? I don't know. Is it?
The recipe's the same as when it was Ladyrara, but at the time, it was 5 years ago, which is bonkers. We had a signature series running, which isn't kind of part of the branding at Abbeydale at the moment. So, but we do have the Indulgence series, which is dessert themed beers. So it's gone in that. So yeah, it's the same recipe. It's a raspberry muffin beer. So vanilla, oats, lactose, and loads of raspberries in there. And yeah, it's similar colour to this one actually, like pale pinky thing. But yeah, I've had a few cans already, and I'm really happy with it. So yeah, but yeah, this is lovely as well. It says on the can that it's strawberries and rhubarb. I wouldn't say I'm picking out specific fruits, but the descriptor for it is a pink lemonade sour, and it definitely tastes like pink lemonade. It's just really refreshing, lovely to have on this lovely sunny day that we've managed to have today. Although it keeps tricking me at the minute. The same happened last Sunday. I keep going and trying to sit outside, and it's actually still bloody freezing. but looks nice. So yeah. Shout out as well. It's linked to the love and labour put into allotments around the country. So I'm going to guess that Dom, who's the production manager at Thornbridge, who is a gardening expert, I'm going to say he had something to do with this. So yeah, it's lovely. As you can see, I've nearly drank it already. I'm trying desperately to let it last the episode and save a bit for Jim to try, but I might just drink it all.
I miss Dom. I feel like we saw him quite a bit at some point.
We should get him on. We should have an allotment special.
Yeah, we'll try and
get him on.
Gardening beers.
Laura, Laura also gave me a little bit of inspiration earlier for perhaps a future episode. I think that we should record a Hopcast whilst camping for the night. Sat round a little campfire, tents behind us with industry mood lighting, of course, and that would be spectacular. A nice night, round a little campfire, and record the Hopcast.
I love that idea.
Is that
would
all
be
of us around the
beautiful.
same campfire, or we've all got to build our own campfire? Are we doing this?
No,
separately?
that James is post lockdown.
Right.
Our post lockdown camping special.
Right.
Let's go from A to Z. Let's just go from being at home but straight to we're camping in some field somewhere.
I know where we should go. We should
Laura,
go to
come on.
We
Is
should
there
go
a
to
hotel there?
the Three Stags Heads at Wardlow Myers, which is one of my absolute favourite pubs, but it has a field next to it that you can sleep in for a couple of quid a night. And
Laura, can we answer James' question there then? Does the pub have rooms for James?
It does not.
It's basically
good.
our room.
Oh, brilliant.
Anyway, James can't
I'll
make
borrow
that
a
week,
camper van
so-
off someone then.
James,
Frank's
how's
got
this?
one. Frankie's got a camper van.
It's been
You have,
stuck
haven't
in
My new best friend.
workshop since we bought it.
James, are you getting any s'mores in that beer?
More. Yeah, I can. Yeah, the marshmallow is actually quite strong. That does come through. I think the problem with drinking any kind of variation on Tonkoko is that they're just not as good as Tonkoko. Like, it's just a great beer, and when you start adding stuff into it, it's not to mean that it makes it a bad beer, but it's just you're always going to compare it to the original, and the original's just great. It doesn't need anything else put in. So fair play for doing it, but all the different versions of Tonkoko that I've had, I don't think any of them beat the original. Having said that, I've not tried either of the barrel-aged versions that they've done this year. Not the easiest beers to get hold of, and quite pricey actually for what they are. So so maybe they'd be great, but I'm sticking my neck out and saying, actually, every time I drink something that is a bit like Tonkoko but not quite Tonkoko, I just wish that I'd have got the original.
Fair enough. I often think that. I think that maybe people just want to give it a bit more of a range and think, people like this, let's give them a bit of a variety. But yeah, I think you always find yourself going back to the original. I agree. I think it's a banging beer. It's a banging beer.
Just quickly as well, say it also doesn't count as a brewery tap because it's not, but I feel it's absolutely appropriate to give Abbeydale a mention as well, because the various events that took place in the brewery were all fantastic, and I am missing those as well. I'm very much looking forward to when we can get back to stuff within the brewery. I know it doesn't quite count, but it feels right that it gets a bit of an honourable mention.
I was going to actually say, I've literally remembered it just as you were saying that I have a feeling that Indie Beer Feast has been rearranged for the summer. For August.
August.
Yeah. Does anybody know what the date is? But I don't know.
6th and 7th. Yeah.
6th and 7th. Yeah. I think I can remember just seeing it on the end of the video that I won't listen to on the Instagram thing last night. So so that's great news basically, because I think that was probably one of the last things we did was Indie Beer Feast before we got locked down. It's worth go check that out, because obviously if you've not been to that festival, I know that I think we got Simon and Vicky from Beers and Out Frontiers over for that one last year, and I remember thinking that was pretty much the last thing that any of us did, because I think the week after that's when lockdown started. But I have actually cracked onto the second beer. Actually, I've pretty much gone through it, but which is the
me also. I've got two
the Brew York, and it's very, very good. I've actually not drunk much Brew York recently, but as I was picking up that one for this purpose, I grabbed a couple of other ones. And what was the one I posted last night? The other Eagle one, which is the West Coast one, which is absolutely great.
Big Eagle.
Big Eagle, yeah, because this is Hast's Eagle. But yeah, really, really good. I think a lot of people probably think of their funny name beers and stuff, but the actual, pretty standard stuff is really, really good as well. So don't forget about those
like
ones.
Rhubarb Streisand.
Yeah. I actually saw that in Sainsbury's yesterday, weirdly.
Juice Forsyth.
Brew York, I think, Frank, have got some similarities to Tiny Rebel. They can both brew absolutely brilliant, classic, straight up beers, particularly pales and hoppy stuff. But then they also have lots of things going on ingredients wise in a lot of their beers, so that can cloud the quality sometimes of the actual core brews that they have. Big Eagle's an absolute beauty, Adam, to give it an example, but then the minute you think of Tiny Rebel and Brew York, sometimes you're thinking of s'mores, or you're thinking of slush dogs and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
when in
the
fact,
jam and all that sort
yeah,
of
yeah. When in
you
fact, if you look at their core basic stuff that has no adjuncts in it, both of them can really still brew. Still it refers more to Tiny Rebel and the Brew York, but they can both brew absolute classics just in their own right, using the 4 main ingredients.
Yeah, I think that's some. Funnily enough, this was a discussion I had with Jimmy at Lost Industry when I asked him about was he going to have any staples, and at that time he said he wasn't going to have any recurring beers. Obviously, he has had recurring beers, and I just think my personal view is that, like, at times craft beer is pretentious, because why not have a staple? I mean, I've got 2 open at the moment. I've got F Clamp, which is version 10 from St. Mars of the Desert, and I've got another one which I'll come on to now, which is a brewery bar that I visited in London, which is a very, very small, very unknown brewery. But I don't see why you can't have at least 1 standard or 2 standards running through a particular brewery, because some breweries are just not good enough to keep constantly innovating. So, but while I've got the iron.
Go on then, Frankie. Go on. We're nearly done. We're nearly out of time.
Moncada Brewery in London. This was last time I think Sheffield Wednesday got hammered yet again by
last time? You mean like a day ago?
No. I think we got hammered last year by Brighton, by Brentford 5-0. Obviously,
I remember it well.
And we popped it to that brewery, and I've had it for like a year. So Moncada Brewery, Impy Custard. So it's a vanilla custard imperial stout, and I've just opened it, and it is. And to be fair, their beers were pretty good. This one, oh yeah, it's rich, thick, and delicious. Lots of vanilla coming through.
Just like Adam.
Sounds beautiful.
Just like Adam.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like I say, it's a small brewery like London. We've got that many breweries. Loads of them will never come on the radar.
Well, that ties in quite nicely, actually, because I was going to finish on just having a whip round of, obviously, we've been in lockdown so long, you're thinking, I just want to go somewhere new, see a new 4 walls. I was thinking a brewery or a brewery tap, kind of somewhere that you can go and sit down there that you've not been to yet, that you think, do you know what? I'm going to make that journey next time we get some free time. And I've not done any kind of bourbons in my beer mile stuff at all. So just for something different, it might be nice if I try and plan and do that, in the next 6 months or a year or something. Get
yourself down there. But
yeah, it's never something I've really been bothered about. But now I've had this time where everyone's been kind of so cooped up. It's like, just go bloody do it. You don't spend your money on anything else. So just go down to London.
Take a credit card though, because some of the beers are mega expensive.
So yeah, so just a quick one. Right? Laura, anywhere you fancy going the next year?
Yeah. So one of my favourite breweries, who I think I've had a couple of their beers before, is Fierce, who are up in Aberdeen, and I'd love to go back to Aberdeen. I think it's a fantastic beery city, but they've also, which might be a bit more realistic in the kind of medium term, opened a bar in Manchester.
It's at the Thomas Street, aren't they? It's at the
And I really want to go over to Manchester anyway, because a few of our friends have moved up there recently, and we haven't been able to go and see them. Catch up with my old uni housemate who now lives over there. So I've got lots and lots of reasons to go to Manchester, and the Fierce bar is one that I would definitely really like to try.
So James, anyway, is on your radar for the next 6 months to a year?
Well, I was just looking. I mentioned Manchester earlier. I'm looking forward to having a trip over to Manchester and just all those places that I've not been to for so long. But last time I went, I was really disappointed because Track they originally had a brewery bar, and then it was moved to somewhere else, which is like above this double glazing sales place or something. And then last time I went, that was closed as well. So I was like, well, they've got to be moving somewhere new. They've got to be constructing somewhere new. So I'm hoping next time I go to Manchester, there'll be at least one new place to go and check out. So that's kind of what's on my radar. And then probably, I don't know, anything on the west coast of America. That's probably on the list.
Sean, are you wanting to venture anywhere further than 3.5 miles?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. So I was going. You've tricked me now. So I was going to have a lazy answer and go with Gorilla, which I'll check whether it's 3.5 miles. Actually, Adam. Yeah, like it's not a bad guess. So putting me on the spot. Manchester is obvious because it's already been said. But the last trip that me and Deborah had to cancel was in April to Manchester, and we couldn't go there. So I've not been to the Marble Tap there over in Manchester, and so I think a little trip there is something that we'd really enjoy.
Marble Arch, I think you'd like it in there, Sean.
We've been in Marble Arch.
The Marble.
But they've got a tap at the brewery as well.
Sorry.
So a trip to there perhaps is something that we'd like for some proper old school bitterness.
It sounds like we're going to need a minibus at this rate.
Well, it sounds like we found his next place for our away day.
Is there a campsite in middle of Manchester?
There's hotels in Manchester. We'll do that. It's a goer. You lot can sleep in some field somewhere. I'll go stay somewhere nice. Malmaison. That's about right.
Near the station.
Right. Very
James.
Right. So just to wrap it up. Go on. We're going to wrap up now. But anywhere you're looking to maybe hit next year, Frank?
Well, this year I've got planned to go to Lithuania, but it's back to Tallinn because last 2 years ago or 3 years ago we didn't actually get to go to Puujahala.
Okay, cool.
Tallinn is absolutely fantastic. The beer, I mean, Puujahala is like like
cracking brewery.
If you have the beers, you'll be pissed because like a lot of them are over like 8 or 10. But Tallinn is the city. We did Tallinn and Riga, so it'd be the Baltics. Do all three.
Excellent.
Tallinn, Riga, and Vilnius. That's
brilliant.
That's
perfect.
I think that about wraps you up. I think we just need to get us cans just for a quick selfie, picture, photos. Hold them up.
Well done to Adam tonight for doing the hosting last minute as well. You've been good there, right. Ad.
No worries. Excellent stuff.
Face much longer.
Good theme that. Yes, you can. Very good. I enjoyed
Frank.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I suggest a theme for next time in a fortnight, because it'll be just after St. Patrick's Day. So I thought, what about St. Patrick's Day as a theme? Interpret it how you want. An Irish brewery if you want to be boring, or there's something something a bit more imaginative.
I've got a beer already in mind.
Let's do it.
I've got a fancy dress outfit already in mind. Sean.
Before we sign off, thanks a lot for inviting me.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome, mate.
Thank you for coming, mate.
Thank you.
Cheers,
we'll
Frank.
see you all in a couple of weeks. Good night.
See you, gang.
See you soon.
Cheers.
Ta-da.